Hey there, Team Reach Johanna. So I want to come to you guys today, and Team Give. I'll probably share this in both groups. So I wanted to come to you guys today. A lot of us are trying to figure out, how do we do this Beachbody thing, building our business and still have a life? What's that balance? How much time do we put into Beachbody? How much time do we put into our life? All of that stuff. So just life balance. This is something that I learned at Business Boutique with Christy Wright this past week. And I think these are things that I've probably heard before, but my coach Michelle will tell you it takes about 7 times for me to hear something before it triggers in my mind, before I'm kind of oh, I understand now. So life balance, I'm kind of reading notes, so if I kind of look away from you guys, that's what I'm doing. So life balance isn't doing everything for an equal amount of time. It's about doing the right things at the right time. So there's things that can get in the way of this balance. We're trying to keep up, which we can never keep up. The finish line always moves. You'll hit a goal, and then there's another goal. You'll be oh, I helped one person, so I'm at Success Club 2, but I got to get to Success Club 5, and now I'm at Success Club 5, but I might as well push for 10, it's that finish line is always going to move. So it's really about finding what do you want? And another thing that gets in the way is we're trying to be perfect. We think we have to live this picture perfect life, or we have to have all of these steps in line before we take this next step in our business, before we announce our business, for example. We think that we have to know all these different things about the back office or about how to run a challenge group. And that's not how this business works at all. It really is you learn as you go. And so we can't always be perfect. Another thing is we always want, a lot of times that gets in the way of balance in our life is we try to be the hero. We try to be there for everyone else. And rather than saying, does this align with my goals? We ask, do they need me? If so, I can do it. Let's not do that. Think about what your goals are. For example, I know I have a lot of friends that they I have some friends, really friends, and they get stuck isn't the right word, but they love taking care of kids, but then they're the ones that get stuck doing nursery daycare at their church for 4 to 5 hours on a Sunday, and they realize okay, I really love kids. But 4 to 5 hours on my Sunday is actually really hard on my family. I'm actually not able to spend time with my husband who works all week because of that. So, if your goal is family time and you're doing something like that, that's taking away from family time, no matter how good of a thing that is, no matter how good and amazing of a thing it is to be present at your church, for example, and to be volunteering somewhere, if it's taking time away from your number one goal, if your number one goal is family, then, are you really happy with it? There's a really good national wake-up call from Trina Gray where she kind of talks about these, what are your goals? And, or what is it? It's you need to be really good at 6 things. 6 things and that's it. Everything else, if it doesn't fit into those 6 things, you just have to say no to it. I can post a link to that later below this. So there really is, so the 3 things that can get in the way of balance. We try to keep up, we're trying to be perfect, or we're always trying to be the hero. So there's a difference between doing something to be loving than doing something to be loved. So doing things to be loving on others is what we need to do. We need to be loving towards others. We can't just do things to be loved. We can't just post and share to be loved. We need to reach out and be loving on others. So just always kind of, think about that when you are talking with people. If you're talking with them and trying to get them signed up with a group, remember, love on them first. Love on them first. And if it fits their goal and it fits their need, invite them. And stress and anxiety are caused when there's a disconnect between our values and behavior. So again, if we're pushing, and we're not loving, we're going to be stressed. I've done it. And I get stressed and I get frustrated and I get peeved. And then I hate what I'm doing. And then I realize, just go back to being a friend for these people. Just go back to asking them about themselves. So some of the things that you can do to create your version of balance is, like I said earlier with that Trina Gray talk, figure out what matters to you. What are 5 or 6 things that really matter to you? So for me, it's time with Neil and Braylon. It's my exercise. It's my morning alone time. It's vacations with people I love. And the last thing that I actually didn't have on my list until today was myself. I matter to myself. And Christy Wright, who did this training, said, put yourself on the list. Like, you need to matter to you. So it was kind of one of those, you don't think about yourself, but you need to remember to love you first as well. What makes you enjoy life? What is the most powerful way? For me, the most powerful way to teach Braylon to enjoy life is to show her that I enjoy life. And another way to create a best version of balance is stop doing what doesn't matter. Kind of like, if it doesn't fit in your goals, don't do it. Don't spend a bajillion, don't spend a ton of time on Facebook. Emily and I have actually talked about this, where we can go on our phones and we can check our phones 150 freaking times a day. Guys, stop doing that. Focus on your business during a certain set of time. Seriously, set aside a time and focus, and then walk away. Those messages are still going to be there. Like, we don't need to keep checking our phones. So do more of what matters with your family or your friends, or get back to work if you're working in an office. And then, set aside time later that night to go back and check messages. Another thing is protect what matters. Set boundaries and say no. We've already kind of covered this one. So no is a complete sentence. Yes, no more crazy Facebook checking. Good, Emily. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to justify or explain why you can't do something for somebody. You just say no. It's hard, but you've got to protect your time. So you've got to really figure out, what do I want out of Beachbody? But what do I want out of my life, more importantly? So again, creating the best version of balance. Figure out what matters to you. Make a list and put yourself on that list. Stop doing what doesn't matter, like checking our phones a bajillion times. You can set aside specific times for this and protect what matters in your life. You have the responsibility to say no, and you don't have to explain. Reminders for living in balance. Sorry, I'm going through this is my last little thing. So reminders for living in balance, or finding this work, Beachbody life balance. Remember, what you're doing is important. What you're doing and the lives you are impacting, that's seriously important. What you're doing when you're present for your family, when you're on a vacation or at night, that's super important. What you're doing when you're resting, sleeping, not checking your dang phone, that's super, super, super important. Don't be sorry for the struggle. Number 2, reminders for living in life balance. Don't be sorry for the struggle. Who you are is more than enough. Never apologize for being you. It doesn't have to be Pinterest perfect. Your life does not have to be Pinterest perfect. People are going to fall in love with you probably when you're at your worst. I know for me, anytime that I've said that I'm at my worst is when people come to me and when I'm even able to help more people. So, and another thing, it's a good thing to have your kids in the struggle with you. I know that we want to hide our kids from our struggles, but this is how kids develop resilience. This is how they'll learn. This was a Dave Ramsey conference that I went to, and Rachel Cruz, who is Dave Ramsey's daughter, kind of talked about, she was born into a family that was, I was going to say debt-free, not debt-free at the time. What's that called when you're opposite of debt-free, Neil?
In debt.
In debt. They just lost all their money. Sorry, guys, that's not the right words. But bankrupt. Thank you. She was born into a bankrupt family, and because of that, she has never had debt because she saw the struggle. So if you struggle with nutrition and you struggle with food and you struggle with working out and you're overweight and you're fed the freak up, share that with your kids. Share that with your kids. They will never get fed the freak up the same way you've had to, because they're going to learn from you. So if you're fed the freak up that you aren't making money with this business and that you're not pulling in an income, it's okay. Be okay with it. Share the struggle with your family. Own it, and your kids will learn from you. Now, you don't have to go and talk about, oh, honey, we can't ever buy anything because I'm always broke. Don't say it like that. Just say, honey, we're on a budget. Mama's still trying to figure this out. So you're doing you're doing good by sharing your struggle, even with your kids. And the last thing that I just want to remind you guys about living in life balance, we've already said what you're doing is important. The lives that you're impacting is important. Don't be sorry for the struggle. And the last thing is you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. You're a good mom or dad. You're a good wife or husband. You're a good friend. You're a good business partner. You're doing a good job. Okay? If any of your friends ever are looking from the outside in, they could tell you you're doing a good job. So never forget that. And anyways, I just hope that that this brings you guys a little bit of life balance. So again, what gets in the way of balance? We're trying to keep up, we're trying to be perfect, or we're trying to be the hero. Ways to create versions of balance. The best version of you is to figure out what matters to you, to stop doing what doesn't matter, and to protect what does matter. And then your reminders. What you're doing matters. Don't be sorry for the struggle. Share in the struggle, and you're doing a good job.